The heartbreaking and dramatic Baby on Days of Our Lives, a journey filled with fear, hope, and uncertainty. Days of Our Lives, DOOL, fans were recently given a glimpse into the tense and emotional world of Sophia Choi as she prepares for one of the most life-altering moments any person could go through, the birth of her child. What initially seemed like a routine hospital tour quickly spirals into a whirlwind of nerves, fear, and an uncertain future. As the young teenager navigates her way through the overwhelming process of pregnancy, her journey leads her down a path no one could have predicted, the possibility of losing the child she's carried for so long. The nerves begin to show. Sophia's growing anxiety. In the June 6 episode of Days of Our Lives, viewers were introduced to a scene in the hospital's maternity ward that would mark a pivotal moment in Sophia's life. She was accompanied by her close friends, Tate Black and Amy Choi, as they took a tour of the hospital and discussed the upcoming birth of her child. While such tours are common for expectant parents, the weight of the moment was not lost on Sophia. As she walked through the sterile, yet emotionally charged corridors of the maternity wing, her nerves began to show. This was the moment when it became clear that Sophia was not prepared for the chaos that would unfold. Sophia, a scared teenager who had never been pregnant before, was understandably overwhelmed by the thoughts of childbirth. She was bombarded with a myriad of information from Amy, who was attempting to reassure her about the process. However, instead of providing comfort, Amy's words and the constant talk about babies made Sophia feel increasingly uneasy. The more Amy spoke, the more Sophia felt her anxiety surge, eventually leading her to leave the room in haste. She ran off, clutching her stomach as she rushed to the restroom to throw up. This dramatic moment was a visual representation of just how deeply unsettled Sophia was by the entire situation. What followed next was an even clearer indication of just how anxious Sophia was. In her distressed state, she expressed an overwhelming fear of having Tate, her partner, in the delivery room with her. This may seem like a minor request, but it spoke volumes about her state of mind. Giving birth is often an intensely personal and vulnerable experience, and for Sophia, the thought of having anyone present, even Tate, was a source of great anxiety. Her refusal to have him by her side, though heartbreaking for Tate, underscored the depth of her fear. The dread of the unknown. Will Sophia's baby survive? As the days leading up to the birth drew closer, the reality of Sophia's situation became more and more unsettling. While it is entirely natural for an expectant mother to feel nervous about the delivery process, Sophia's anxiety seemed to go far beyond normal. This wasn't just about her worries about labor, there were deeper, more ominous concerns surrounding the baby's health and the dangers that might arise in the delivery room. Days of Our Lives has a history of crafting heart-wrenching, dramatic birth stories, and it seemed like they were heading down that same path with Sophia's pregnancy. The show has often used births as an opportunity to heighten the stakes, bringing forth unexpected complications, shocking twists, and tragic losses. As fans of the soap opera know, these moments are often accompanied by near-death experiences that force characters to confront their deepest fears and most profound desires. In Sophia's case, the situation became even more dire when it became clear that her child's life would be hanging in the balance during birth. Days of Our Lives has never shied away from exploring difficult, often tragic storylines, and it became increasingly apparent that Sophia's child may not survive the traumatic birth. With all the tension building around Sophia's growing fears and Tate's quiet support, the birth was set to be a pivotal moment for both characters. Sophia, after receiving information about the birth, was left in a state of confusion and dread. Even though she tried to prepare herself, there was no way to predict what would actually happen once she went into labor. With the looming possibility that her child may not make it, Sophia found herself paralyzed by fear. She could not shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen, and her anxiety only worsened as the days passed. A tragic loss and the emotional fallout as the delivery unfolded, the moment viewers had feared seemed to come to fruition. Despite all efforts, Sophia's baby did not survive the traumatic birth. The heartbreak was palpable, and the loss was a devastating blow to Sophia. She had carried this child for so long, and yet, in a cruel twist of fate, the life she had nurtured inside of her was lost in the blink of an eye. It was a tragedy that no one could have prepared for, and the grief that followed was overwhelming. The loss of the baby left Sophia devastated. As the mother of a child she could never hold, Sophia was forced to confront the harsh realities of life. It was a moment of unimaginable pain and sorrow, one that no one, especially a teenager like Sophia, should have to experience. The sorrow she felt was not just for the life lost, but for the dreams that were never realized. She had envisioned a future with her baby, a future full of hopes and dreams, but now those dreams lay shattered. However, amid the devastation, there was also a sense of resilience. Although Sophia's world had been shattered, she remained alive and healthy. She could still find a way to rebuild, to move forward. Tate, though stricken with his own grief, stood by her side, offering support during this unimaginable time. Their bond, which had been tested in the past, grew stronger in the wake of this tragedy. The experience forced them to reevaluate their lives and what truly mattered to them. A complicated path ahead. What's next for Sophia and Tate? In the aftermath of this devastating loss, Sophia and Tate found themselves at a crossroads. In the wake of the tragedy, they struggled with the future of their relationship and what path they would take moving forward. The overwhelming grief they shared, though deeply painful, brought them closer together. But at the same time, it caused them to confront some difficult decisions. One of the most pressing questions that loomed over their relationship was the fate of their child's future. Although they had initially discussed adoption, the loss of their child raised even more questions about what they truly wanted. Would they still move forward with adoption plans? Or would they choose to raise a child together, should the opportunity arise again? Amid the tragedy, Sophia also found herself wrestling with her emotions. Her maternal instincts, which had once been focused on the child she lost, began to shift. The idea of becoming a mother in the future became more meaningful to her, despite the heartache she had just experienced. The love she had for her baby, even though that love was never fully realized, opened her heart to the possibility of motherhood in a way she hadn't expected. In this sense, the loss of the baby became a turning point for both Sophia and Tate. They had been forced to grow in ways they never anticipated, and their journey ahead was now filled with uncertainty. What came next for them was unclear, but one thing was certain: the tragedy they had experienced would forever shape who they became in the future. A future of healing. Sophia and Tate's Journey Ahead: Days of Our Lives has always been a show that explores the complexities of life, love, and loss. Sophia's journey was no different. In the aftermath of the loss of her baby, she would undoubtedly face many challenges. But the show's writers, ever adept at finding hope in the darkest moments, will no doubt provide Sophia with the strength to heal and move forward. While the heartbreak of losing a child is a pain that will never truly go away, the future holds the possibility of healing and rebuilding. Sophia and Tate's journey together may be marked by sadness, but it will also be one of resilience, growth, and the hope of a brighter tomorrow. As for the viewers, the tragedy of Sophia's lost baby will likely remain etched in their hearts as a reminder of just how fragile life can be. But it will also be a reminder that, no matter how painful the journey, love and hope can always lead the way toward healing.